put one of these in to my existing power grid again, or rather a second one into my existing power grid, until I had enough to build a second one because of these exploration hard drives. Because oftentimes they do want a whole bunch of power, and my previous method for dealing with them was, you know, to go along, apologize, but not a lot I can do about that. I mean, first person is just generally not your, not going to be good for you. Because unlike you, my character can actually look up and down without causing. Alright. Let's go up this peak just to say that we've been there, and then we'll...
Look through the window and witness a thread.
Your case lights just started freaking out for a second there, so that seems to be stable now. Electromagnetic control rods. Which we had some in our inventory already. Don't know where they went, but there we go. Hopefully that's enough to do that in the box. I didn't actually eyeball how many I needed. Okay. So and instant circle. Well, not that I'm complaining, mind you, but nestled in with uranium. Yes, up. Looks like up is the correct direction for now, at least. Directly underneath it, that's why. Scary looking, but you don't really do that much damage solo. It did a fantastic job of making this whole biome look disgusting. Mark II output, I know, has power. And then our mega power plant is right there as well. This to be the only part where I really wish I had a portable teleport. Little one-time shot to get home. I wouldn't even be upset if it was like a really, really high power draw battery thing. Oh, for sure. It's definitely hope it goes away soon and they find a solution. I think they're going on. I've got this one up right here. If it's convenient, I tend to grab the power slug, but I really don't stress about them because I don't find there to be much scarcity of them at this point in the game for me. When I'm doing the normal streams, the camera stays still, they're totally fine, but the second I start flipping around and moving and sliding and jumping and everything, yeah, game over. Not happening. Go. Okie dokie. Just give you a little local area map that you can hang out if there's nearby caverns. Doesn't have to be a low level tech, it could be a higher level, but being able to do that would be real nice. I know what I'm doing. There we are. Bug. Interesting. At this point, the lack of dialogue is more suspicious than it is more suspicious than anything else for me. Lovely. Let's grab some nice advanced components here. Heat sinks. Never come across those yet. That's nice. Don't need those, but might as well. Sam. After we're out of it. That's right. Far enough away now? There we go. Roof height. A whole biome I don't think I've ever actually been to. Which I think is where one of the people that play on the Dino server ended up driving off to do some mega factory and got stuck. So. What the heck? You guys even put radiation and... Okay, so I'm gonna take a look at the map, see what is our closest point that has power. This power is how we're gonna get home. demons. Right? How far down? As a side, I saw something about vehicles in this game that I want to test for later as well. But wow, that's a lot of creatures. Four? Nice. Alright. There's the first sphere. It's okay. Geyser, sulfur. Oh, hard drive. I don't drive the vehicles in this game nearly often enough. And sometimes you get little bonuses like that bomb that got in my way. Right there. That's fine. Secret behind the waterfall? How dare you? We all know it's part of video game code that you're required to put secrets behind waterfalls, and this game has many a waterfall and not many secrets. Oh, I can actually do that one. For purple. God, this biome really doesn't want me here, right? I find a little too much of any one part of this game, and I kind of get tired, but I can basically see the end at this point, so I kind of want to get through it. Please let me know if the game audio is too loud, too quiet, or otherwise. I know it can be a little bit wonky with Twitch, so. start heading home. And apparently because there's a summer sleep up there. Person that going up like that affect the proximity of the summer's loop, but
Surface genetic sampling indicates this freighter may have come from a planet run by apes.
there. Oh my god, okay. This is the direct opposite direction of what I was intending on doing. Knew there'd be a reason to come up here.
Your waves lap at our shores. When will you land?
Perfect. I just haven't picked up a new voice dialogue, new voice line in a while. Very surprised. Ah, down there. Hey. Whoop. I think that hurt them a lot more than it hurt me. Alright. Pretty remarkable in the game. And if I happen to see where it's yours. No harm in grabbing those. I assume I need to look at down here somewhere. Probably a cave. Structural portion of this wall. Wish there was like a terrain scanner, which would, and sometimes they're really nice and put like mushrooms and stuff near cave entrances, and then other times it's like the tiniest little crack in the wall that you got to throw a novelist at to actually find where you're going. Or they'll put it behind like a resource node like that. But that would be a bit further away than I would expect to see problems. here. So we're going to try looping around this side and see where that puts us. Somewhere inside that wall. Doesn't imply I should find anything. All these wonderful creatures and monsters and poison spawners and all sorts of good stuff here. Trying to kill me, so clearly there's something here that's notable. Presumably, there's a cave here somewhere. Power slugs roll all away. Well. And it'll fade. Perfect. But definitely doesn't have any spiders in it whatsoever. Still no dialogue. Finding all sorts of stuff on this walk. All right. Ah, I'm just dumb. There we go. Blended right in. Alright, fair enough. There we go. Okie dokie. But no big deal. We've got that. Where I'm sourcing it from is not technically infinite at this point, but it's nearly a full double stack container. So if I manage in a single outing to exhaust that, I think we've run into some other situations, and we'll deal with those as they come up. My mom has very long-term vertigo, which does not have any indication of going away anytime soon, sadly. So, unfortunately, games like this, you know, to be honest, I care more about hard drives than mercer spheres. Nitrogen. That's what the current tech exploration is going to unlock for me, is the pressurized wells to get that stuff. I should have found all my programmer and my cables and all my odds and ends that I need to do this stuff. And we should be able to do some progress on that wonderful Pop Hat project, because I want to work on that project and I know some people want it, and I want to give people things that they want. so... Okay. Apparently not in this vehicle. I was told by a coffee stain video that all the vehicles have some level of air control and that you can access that by holding space while the vehicle, that they demonstrated it with a factory cart. So I assume that because of the absurdity of it. Now we should go for power. Alien power augmenter. Boop. Power line, connected up to that, and free 500 megawatts of power. Which is the big reason why I didn't want to, actually a fair bit of aluminum casing, okay. For the radio control units to get the advanced aluminum production. That's a weird looking structure. Cave. Most likely a cave. These can be very tricky to suss out, though. Like, sometimes you get... They were nice. Because this is all sculpted, right? This is a handcrafted map. Say nothing is random. And 8-9 years? Something like that. Been a rough go. We're gonna go get that hard drive, and then we're gonna find our way home, so we can actually do some factory. So as I said before, in a little bit here, we're going to be doing, not tonight because I need to finish rebuilding this space, but probably come next stream, they will fight with spiders, which I thought was really interesting. A spider was chasing me, landed amongst a bunch of them, and they actually fought each other to the death, which obviously was very good, very, very good for me. Boxes are long. Nope, don't want it. Not interested. Don't want to buy it. Nope. Go away. Power slog. That seems a little excessive. I wasn't paying attention. Summer's good. Okay, so apparently this isn't going to be me building anything stream. This is going to be me finding all the summer loop I couldn't find last time. That's this here. Okay. I kind of figured that would be the case, Mom. Unfortunately, rain, we made that a very high. Oh. Something I didn't realize until I saw it recently was that the those guys, the spitters, whatever they're called, so the underground one. Okay. I'm currently on the top of the cliff, so I cave entrance from the top, or I need to be going over one of the sides to find it. Yeah. There we go. Alright, let's go to the power plant. And screw it. Let's go like this. Radioactive guy. What do you need? High-speed connector. I managed to glitch his AI a little bit by just sitting here apparently. So that's nice. Summer sleep activity. Good, good, good. Yes. Just straight up exploration for summer sleep. Okay. Oh, that's fine. Thank you so much. That's I know this game is just terrible for you to watch, Mom. I apologize. Another ref down there? Did indeed want to come here. And my enemies are none the wiser. Oh, another summer sleep? This way. Okay. I'm not detouring for other things, but I will actually take the time to detour for summer sleep, because they are pretty... Not being dumb about how I was aiming. Okay. Like a whole bunch of power slugs. Nice. Alright, so I'm going to need 100 computers, 50 crystal oscillators, and 64 aluminum piece. Or no, 32 per. Nope. Sam, I know where to find it. I'm actually going to drop that. Whoa, what the? Oh my gosh. Not just stat damage, that was wild. Those guys are just largely not worth fighting. Kind of annoying. But radiation suit goes a long way. Turbo fuel in the inventory. All right, we're gonna head back to base, I think. Goal or oh, apparently I was exploring a whole new mountain range. Okay, I'm also here for that. summer's leaf up here somewhere.